even though it felt like I was alone, even though it felt like this is going to be it, it's going to be like this forever, even though it felt like there was no hope, the truth was I was not alone. The truth was that even though I couldn't see, God was up to something. Hey everyone, it's me, Regina Hasan, your host for the Pregnant with Purpose podcast, back again for season 4. So this season, what we want to talk about, what I like to talk about this season is overcoming, and I want to be able to talk about my journey, the journey that I'm currently on, and that's in dealing with. I've been diagnosed with the disease of glaucoma, and the outcome for this disease, or what it does, is it attacks your peripheral vision. I've lost a lot of my peripheral vision. I can't see here, up here, and down here. I'm very limited, and it's hard for me to see in dark areas. So it's been a journey for me, and what God revealed to me is that during this journey, first of all, that He's been there with me all the time, even though sometimes it feels very lonesome. And my sight does not have anything to do with the purpose He's called me for. He's able to make sure that I'm able to fulfill the purpose that He's called me to, and it's not contingent on me being able to see, my education, how much money I have, none of that. So He's made that very clear. And so He also pointed out to me that I'm not the only one. That are people who are living out their God-given purpose, um, with and are facing challenges, and they are overcoming. So this season, I want to talk to some overcomers, as well as share my journey, share what I've been going through. I've been diagnosed with this condition for quite some time. I'm going to say for 10 years plus, and it's a progressive disease, so it's not getting better; it's getting worse. And at this stage of my life, I've had to make some very difficult decisions. One of the decisions is that I no longer drive, but I haven't been. I haven't been so immobilized because of it, because they got Lyft and Uber, and then I have friends and family who are very kind to make sure that I can get where I need to go. So I'm very grateful for that. But those are the ways that God is showing me that I'm here with you, even though it feels very lonely. The truth of the matter is, I don't want to be blind. Even though they say that's the final prognosis, I don't want to be blind, and God knows that. I'm not trying to pretend. Even when I say whatever God's will is for my life, because I do think that God can use me no matter what my physical condition is. I do believe that because I've been called, that God can use me and will use me. But He knows my heart, and I don't want to be blind. But and if that's what the result is going to be, if that's how it's going to be, as long as God gets glorified, I'm okay with that. So like I said, I start thinking about that, and God starts showing me you're not alone in that. And I look around and I see that there are some people who have overcome some traumas and some devastating things, but they're still doing what they were called to do by God. And that's what my podcast is all about, is talking to people who are living out or looking for their God-given purpose. So y'all know how I feel about talking alone. Oh, that also explains the sunglasses. The bright studio lights affect my sight. So that's why I have on the sunglasses. I know it's cool. I know I look cool and everything, but that's not really the whole thing about wearing these sunglasses. But I thought it's very important. I'll probably have them on through this whole season because I thought it was very important, since I'm gonna be talking about my journey. Um, One of the things that I faced was I had surgery on my eyes. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I had surgery on my eyes, and the first surgery I had was to remove cataracts, and for them to put something to help with my pressure. The whole thing about glaucoma is that since there's no cure for it, the thing is to try to hold on to what little sight you have and try to keep that sight great. But you do that by keeping your pressure down. That you have eye pressure, and so by keeping the pressure down, that helps me maintain my sight. So I've been having some problems in that area. So they did the surgery on me, and the first surgery wasn't so bad. But they did a second surgery on my left eye, which is the worst eye for me. And the surgery was brutal. People said, "What did it feel like?" And it was made very clear. It felt like exactly what they did because they stuck needles in my eyes. I had to get stitches put in my eye, and the recovery process was so difficult and so painful. The eye often watered because of the fact that I had foreign matter in my eye because the stitches had not dissolved yet. So it felt like I had something in my eye. It was very debilitating. I found myself not wanting to go anywhere, not wanting to do anything. Anything I would try to do, this eye would start watering. It was just a difficult time, and I came up to the thing of God, please, and even though it felt like I was alone, even though it felt like this is gonna be it, it's gonna be like this forever, even though it felt like there was no hope, the truth was I was not alone. The truth was that even though I couldn't see, God was up to something, and my eye has healed, is eventually healed, is so much better. The watering has stopped almost, and the light is still bright, but the sunglasses help a whole lot. So it did get better over time, but when you're in the midst of something or when you're in the middle of something, what I'm finding out, what it feels like is not the fact of the matter. It feels like that, you're the only one. It feels like that it's never going to get any better. And, but what I had to make sure I did was hold on to my faith. And that's what I did. I just was determined that I was not going to give up my faith in God, no matter what the situation looked like. And as you go through that, God, to me, God always brings people around that you're able to say, or you're able to share your story with, and they share their stories, and then that's when you find out, hey, I'm not alone. This is not something I'm going through. But I do want to share with other people who are out there who may be going through an obstacle, to offer you hope that you can overcome this. So that's what the show is going to be about this season. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody else on how I came up with that. But God just made it so clear that, hey, what I called you to do, or what I've called your purpose to be in this life is not contingent on you. It's contingent on me as God, and I often see as I read God's word that he didn't use the most skilled people. He didn't always they wasn't always the smartest, the brightest, the toughest, or whatever. But God, you still was able to use them to build up his kingdom. So that's the way I look at my life right now, is that, God is using me in the way that in a way that I can glorify him and glorify his kingdom. So if he gets the glory from, even if I'm not healed of this, if he gets the glory, that's all that matters for me right now. So hey, and I'm looking forward to working with the CCN crew this season. So you know how I like to end it with, your old win. So I'm coming back. I'm taking my lunch, bringing my lunch with me, because I one of the things I'm not able to cook, so I'm having a meal prep program. I'm having food brought in for me, prepared meals brought in for me. So I have stuck this note on the back of my door on the way out, and somebody asked me, why do you have this note? And I have a big note on, and it's in big writing, because even as big, even putting the note there, I still have to make sure I see it, right? So I put in, they said, why do you have this on your door? And it says, don't forget your lunch. So I can remember to take my lunch. So you know you're old when you have to leave yourself a note about not forgetting your lunch. Well, that's not necessarily old, but you know you're older. You know, like I told them across the street in the training that uh, my brain is at the point whereas I can't retain all this stuff because my brain has stuff in it and I don't really know what to eliminate sometimes. So sometimes what gets pushed out of my brain is my social security number. It's my social security number. So taking in new stuff sometimes is hard because you don't know sometimes. You don't want to get rid of, you have to decipher what you're going to get rid of. So anyway, it's all good. You know, it's all wonderful. It's all good. And I like to end with my favorite. If you're not dead, God's not done. See you.